What major concerns do faculty have with making their materials publicly available on the World Wide Web, and how would you allay those concerns?
Well, I think anyone has concerns about making any aspect of their work available on the World Wide Web. First, there's the issue of credibility. There's an understandable concern about putting one's work out for the review and feedback of the entire world. However, putting any information out on the World Wide Web does not necessarily open it up to the entire world. Obviously, there are systems, there are servers, there are levels of security, there are levels of privacy that can be maintained to protect the proprietary value of intellectual property, and I think that's a valid concern of any academic who has put time and effort and blood, sweat, and tears into researching a particular topic and then is asked to simply release the knowledge into the wild for the benefit of all. Where is their level of recognition for their work? And on the other hand, it's a two-sided coin. What if what I'm publishing is wrong? What if what I'm publishing does not incorporate information I'm not aware of? There's a certain level of insecurity that is understandably a part of that same reticence. However, I think that both and all concerns on the part of the researcher or the academic writer, the student, the faculty member, whatever the role, understanding the way that technology works and understanding the goals and the benefits that are gained in exchange for the loss of proprietary ownership are important for understanding where the web technologies have the potential for leading us into areas of heretofore never realized levels of collaboration and discovery and knowledge. It's not entirely impossible to maintain one's sense of ownership over proprietary knowledge and intellectual property, even within the Creative Commons movement, even within the copyleft or the open licensing. One need not give up their recognition for their work simply because they make that work available to all at no cost. And I think helping each faculty member who stands at that point, at the edge of that water, and who has concerns about how deep is that water? Am I going to drown? Are there fish in there that are going to gnaw on my legs? You know, in terms of venturing into this new world, it's really important for us to provide a view of what's on the other side and an understanding of how letting go of one benefit may actually end up increasing benefits in an entirely different and perhaps never even imagined way. Again, having a graduated population of learners, some at the front of the line, some in the middle, and some toward the back, and letting people somewhat self-select where they are in that line, I think is important, as long as, again, they stay with the forward motion of the group as a whole. And then we can recruit people within that group of learners, which again goes back to this whole new form of learning, where the learning is not just coming from the faculty member who is delivering the course and receiving the money from the university, but creating opportunities where people are learning from each other and developing ownership of the technology in a way that they're not being told how it's going to work. They're deciding for themselves how it's going to work. And once we let faculty realize the full potential for their ownership of this technology and how important it is for them to realize it doesn't change the nature of the content, it's only the wrapper that is wrapped around it and the level of availability. I think even from a standpoint of being concerned about intellectual property, if I know as a writer or as a researcher or a publisher that my work is going to reach 10 times more people because of this technology, I will be more likely to find a way to make my concerns known and met. And I think that's the same sort of consideration that we owe faculty who are stepping into this unknown frontier. That we provide not only knowledge of what we know is there, but some sense of camaraderie and teamwork for what we don't know is there. Letting them know that this is a group effort. We're all in this together. And that while there may be some of us who are at the front of the pack leading the way in terms of experimentation, exploration, really none of us know exactly how things are supposed to be used. It's up to each of us, each participant, each learner, to voice what their needs are and to find a way for the group to collectively meet the needs of each individual. It's also important for institutions to support that level of bravery, for lack of a better word, experimentation, that frontiersmanship on the part of early adopters. In terms of tenure and promotion, there should be an advantage given to those people who are willing to step to the forefront of that line. And if the institution, in their processes of review, granting tenure, promoting within, acknowledge that and again incentivize those persons who are doing so successfully. And I think it's important that we define success not with the end product, the number of modules or the number of courses, but in terms of what new ground is broken. Define success in terms of how many other people in the organization have been brought in by that effort. Even though a project may not ultimately get off the ground, the Digital Life Project is a perfect example. We had a group of 20 people from 2 different university systems, 3 state agencies, several departments on this university's campus. We all worked together using web technologies to create a program design and a grant application that ultimately was not funded. However, that was a very successful endeavor because of what we accomplished in terms of the process. And even though that project is currently dormant and we're still seeking funding and it has a life of its own, just the process itself of how we built that collaboration among such a diverse group of stakeholders laid groundwork for future work and therefore should be deemed a success. And if the institution truly wants that level of integration and that high level of adoption, there should be rewards for those faculty and staff members who provide that, not only for themselves, but for their colleagues.